If you're reading this, I hope you'll stay until the end. Stories like this deserve to be felt, not rushed. I never imagined that an ordinary evening would quietly reroute the path of my life. I'm Daniel, 39 years old, married to Laura for just over a decade. From the outside, our life looked settled and stable. We had built a home, raised children, paid bills, shared responsibilities. Nothing dramatic, nothing chaotic. Just steady, comfortable, familiar. Most weekends followed the same rhythm. A simple dinner, maybe something streaming in the background, a glass of wine if we felt indulgent. It wasn't exciting, but it felt safe. That Friday was no different at first. Laura mentioned she'd be meeting a few friends after work. She seemed unusually animated when she said it, but I brushed it off with a smile and told her to have fun. Once she left, I stayed behind, answering emails, folding clothes, moving through the house on autopilot. Time slipped by unnoticed until the house grew too quiet. When I finally heard the door open close to midnight, I felt a strange tension rise in my chest, though I couldn't explain why. She stepped inside, and before she said a word, I sensed something had shifted. It wasn't her clothes or makeup. It was the way she stood. Upright, alert, almost glowing. There was a spark in her expression that felt unfamiliar, like meeting someone I knew but hadn't truly seen in years. I greeted her casually, trying to sound normal. "How was it?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she leaned against the wall, took a breath, and looked at me with a seriousness that stopped me cold. "Daniel," she said quietly, "we need to talk." Those words landed heavier than any shout ever could. My thoughts spiraled. I nodded, even though my heartbeat had picked up. "Okay," I said. "What's going on?" She stepped closer, hands clasped tightly together. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," she began. "About us. About how we've been living. And I feel like we've slowly faded into a routine that no longer feels real to me." I felt the air leave my lungs. She wasn't angry. She wasn't accusing. That somehow made it worse. "I don't want a life where we're just existing next to each other," she continued. "I don't want to wake up 10 years from now and realize I ignored how empty I felt." Her words stung because part of me recognized the truth in them. I had assumed that stability meant happiness, that showing up every day was enough. I reached for her hand, but she hesitated, pulling back just slightly. "Please don't misunderstand," she said softly. "I care about you deeply, but I don't feel seen anymore. And tonight, being out with my friends, I remembered who I used to be. I don't want to lose her again." The room felt smaller, tighter, as if the walls were listening. In that moment, memories flooded in. Quiet dinners, distracted conversations, nights spent scrolling instead of talking. I realized how long we'd been sharing space without truly sharing ourselves. "I don't know exactly what needs to change," she said, voice trembling. "But I can't keep living like nothing is wrong. I need honesty. I need space to breathe. And I need to know if you're willing to try with me." I studied her face and saw fear beneath her strength, vulnerability beneath her resolve. And something shifted inside me. "I don't want us to disappear," I said slowly. "I've been afraid to say it, but I miss us too. I miss feeling close to you." For the first time that night she smiled. Just a little. But it felt like light breaking through clouds. The days that followed were quiet, yet charged. We still followed our routines, but every glance felt intentional. Every word carried meaning. It was fragile, like learning how to walk again. One evening while we cooked together, she laughed when I burned the bread. It wasn't forced or polite. It was real. And it made my chest ache in the best and worst way. That weekend we went for a long walk by the river near our home. We didn't talk much at first. Just walked side by side, listening to the water, the wind. Then she stopped, turned to me and said, "I want us to talk tonight. Really talk. No phones. No noise." I agreed, nervous but hopeful. That night, we sat at the kitchen table with candles lit low. The conversation started cautiously but slowly unfolded into something raw and honest. She spoke about feeling invisible, about losing parts of herself inside predictability. I shared my own loneliness, the fear of no longer being enough, the exhaustion of trying not to rock the boat. There were tears, long pauses, moments where words failed us. But letting those emotions exist openly made them lighter. By the end of the night we were drained, but clearer. Nothing was magically fixed, but something important had begun. In the weeks that followed we made small, intentional changes. One night a week became ours. No distractions, just connection. I learned to listen without defending. She learned to express without holding back. It wasn't perfect. We stumbled. Old habits crept in. But we addressed them instead of pretending they didn't exist. One quiet evening I watched her laugh with our kids, truly laugh, and I realized something fragile but powerful had returned. Not certainty, not perfection, but life. I understood then that love isn't constant excitement. It's choosing to show up honestly. It's vulnerability. It's staying when it would be easier to retreat. Months later, as we got ready for bed, she whispered, "Thank you for staying." And for the first time in years I felt peace. Not because everything was resolved, but because we were finally facing it together. Our life still has routines, still has disagreements, but now there's intention, understanding, effort. I don't know exactly where the future will lead us, but I know this: we are choosing each other again. And sometimes that choice is what saves everything.